that ever did it, man.
One of the best, period. Hands up. Hey, I don't care. But you know what? If somebody want to test me, if they want to test me. I'm here. I ain't going nowhere.
You said if Floyd wanted to?
Oh, yeah. If Floyd wanted, he can get it.
That's Michigan versus Michigan. That's shoulder
roll. You
know
what?
Shoulder roll versus shoulder roll.
Huh? Who? You seen the shoulder roll, right? Mm-hmm. You seen the head, you see mine, right?
It's different.
Mine's what?
Different.
Mine's real. The real way to do it. You do know that, right? You do know mine's the real way to do it, right?
I know you came first.
But you know that's the real way to do it, right? Alright. Well, don't get scared. You say something?
I don't want to say I'm getting schooled right now.
Yeah, but you know that I am the shoulder roll king, period. Hands down.
Well, they say it came from Georgie Benton. Is that true, James?
Georgie Benton, it came from Jersey Joe Walker. As a child, Cincinnati Cobra, you know what I'm saying? Those are the bitch names. Hey, I just picked it up and add mine like a pollen to it. I'm a hitter. Everybody else ain't no hitter. I'm a hitter. I knock motherfuckers out with him. Imagine what I would do to people without gloves. Huh?
You want to knock someone else off the counter, not keep them off.
Off. Out. Sleepy.
What's good, family? Shout out to the boss man, Busy B, for boosting up your man the YB coin 100%. So we just heard there from your mans, James, Lights Out, Tony, airing out and punking, Floyd, going through it, Mayweather. Now, James Tony alleges his shoulder roll was more certified than Floyd Mayweather's. Yeah, and you best, but you know Floyd big sour hearing this. Yeah, Floyd gonna be seething hearing the JT punking him off about his moody having ass shoulder roll. But listen, let's do some analysis here. James Tony says his shoulder roll was more certified because his shoulder roll, when he would pull it, when he would roll it, yeah, he would give it a roll and pop. Yeah, when James Tony would roll and pop the right hand, he looking to knock someone out. And this really is saying Floyd's a no power having ass. Oops. it's peak for Floyd right now. Super duper peak. Even the old time dogs are getting off on Floyd. Yeah? Floyd boring ass style. Coming to box having ass style. Now to be fair, and then James Tony, he's from the 80s and the 90s. I'm sorry, but it was a whole different ball game back then. The level of competition was a different ball game. The viciousness was a different ball game. And Floyd really was the turning of the tables for that, in my opinion. Floyd was really the first one who made it, who popularised fanning around. That's God's honest truth. Because, yeah, Roy Jones wasn't a walk forward and start moshing. Neither was James Tony. But, I mean, even in their fight, how many knockdowns would there be? And these are top all-time great caliber dons. Do you understand? We're not talking about... Floyd can't even knock down Robert Guerrero, for example. But yet, James, Tony and Roy are going at it, and Roy got smoked by Tava. That's what we're talking about here. And all these guys I've mentioned are top quality boxers. The difference is, they were coming to really get it. Yeah? They weren't coming to play tic-tac-toe. Now, Floyd perfected the tic-tac-toe, but it's a real shame that that seems to be what's been taken for the next generation. The next generation, all they want to really do. And even someone like Tank Davis, who's been blessed with great attributes, even he more recently, he trying to play tic-tac-toe as well. Yeah? So this is needed from James Tony. Now, before I go on and carry on my analysis, one thing I will say is, in defence of Floyd, and what likely Floyd will be thinking, hearing James Tony say this will be, oh, yeah, okay, James, if your shoulder roll is so certified, why is it you're struggling with your speech? Why is it your bonds has been rattled? Which is a fair thing to say, however. The difference is, Floyd, yes, James Tony may have speech problems because he's been rattled, but the difference is, he give it all to the sport. The reason his brain's rattled because he put it all in. Did he put too much in? Probably so, to be quite honest with you. Put too much in. Yeah? But the fact he chose to do that has to be saluted. And that's why when people tell me, oh, Floyd's the best ever, I'm sorry, but I can't agree. When you've got people like Ali and James Toney, rightly or wrongly, is it a smart thing what Ali did? Is it a smart thing what James Toney did? No, but they chose to do it nonetheless. And that for me, anyone can say, oh, I'm putting my health first, and oh, I want to make loads of money for not doing a lot, like Mr. Anthony Johnston in the UK. Who can't say that? Who can't say, oh, I don't want to risk anything? I mean, I can do that. I can make millions of dollars and not take no risk. We can all do that. What we all can't do is say, you know what? I love this game so much. I'm going to go all in, health or no health. That's what we all can't do. Yeah, and that's why for me, Floyd isn't in the top 10 all time. To be top 10 all time based on what others have done. Don't get me wrong, if historically everyone was focusing on self-preservation, yeah, then Floyd would be top 10, of course. But the fact that there are people out there, the fact that back in time there was people who put self-preservation much further down their list, for Floyd, number one, not entertaining the fans, not getting knockouts, not anything else. He was about self-preservation. Maximum return for minimum risk. That was Floyd 101. Yeah? And when you got other people like James Toney, like Muhammad Ali, like whoever else you want, who didn't put that first on their list, they will always be above. Always be above. Same as the individuals I mentioned about, or people I mentioned who come to fight and get stuck in. That's why for me, I'm not being funny, but De La Hoya, that's why I'm convinced. And go back and watch it yourself. De La Hoya beat Floyd. Floyd isn't undefeated. Go and watch that fight. Go and watch Floyd versus De La Hoya, yeah? And not to mention the fact that Floyd ran off and retired. Oops. How can a man win a fight, allegedly, and then duck the rematch clause because he's retired? But you wait a minute, Floyd, that was your biggest fight. You said you won it. Why did you run off and retire for? He knew he got beat. His own dad said you lost that fight. Oops. Yeah? So Floyd isn't undefeated anyway. That's another thing as well. That for me shows. Watch De La Hoya versus Floyd. Not only is that proof that Floyd's actually not undefeated, but it also shows all this tippy-tappy rubbish. And that was by the way, that was a prime Floyd. 2007 was a prime Floyd. That was that middle between Money and Pretty Boy. Prime. Yeah? So De La Hoya beat a prime Mayweather. And that shows you that in this game, you can have all the pity-patty skills you want, but what De La Hoya brought was raw engine, raw desire. You could just watch it. He was desperate to win. He didn't care what Floyd was doing. Yeah, he didn't care about that, like James Toney just said. He didn't care about that pity-patty, shoulder roll, defense having that style. De La Hoya was rock hard for Floyd, and it showed. Yeah? And Floyd got moshe bashed, and Floyd ran off into retirement. So he ain't the greatest, and he's not undefeated either. That's what happens, you see, when you can have all the skill you want, like Floyd did, but when it comes up against someone who's just doggedly determined, you get smoked. And I'm not being funny. Floyd never fought no one, did he? Yeah? Bottom line. I've just told you about James Toney, who fought the best guys, and put his bonds on the line, fighting the best guys. Show me, where's the Roy Jones? Where's the Roy Jones and them lot on Floyd's resume? Where? Where did Floyd fight someone who's as good as him or better? Oops, he didn't, did he? He fought old people and no good people from this new era who are no good. People like, I'm not being funny, but Cotto's a solid fighter, yeah, but he ain't, is he? He's not James Toney, and James Toney was mixing it with top ticket all-timers. Cotto probably made the Hall of Fame, but he isn't really, is he? No one's going to think about Cotto, are they? No one thinks about boxing and thinks, wow, Cotto. Cotto's a solid guy for these times. But back in the 80s and 90s, Cotto wouldn't have... Innit? Let's be real now. What do you think? I mean, I'm not sure about the weight, but... yeah, I'm not sure who was at 154, but either way, you best believe. Cotto wouldn't beat the top 10 all time, would he? Yeah? And that's pretty much one of Floyd's best wins. Who else has Floyd beat? Robert Guerrero. I mean, we found out how useless Guerrero is. Floyd went in there, made a name out of him for nothing. And then What did Guerrero do after that? What did Guerrero do before that? Beat Berto. And then, to add insult to injury, Floyd even went on to fight Berto. Berto? What's Berto done? So like I say, it's easy to sit there, oh well, I've got my faculties. Yeah, you've got your faculties, because you didn't fight no one. And your era was extremely weak. Yeah? Berto. No ambition, did they? Let's be real now. Robert Guerrero, Canelo, Berto, none of them came into the fight with any ambition. In fact, the only guy, and even he wasn't really fully committed, was Maidana, and we saw what happened there. Yeah? Floyd was having a hard night in the first fight, and then the second fight, that's where Maidana didn't have no ambition. Yeah? But that's a chronic issue in boxing today. People don't have no ambition. They want to turn up and win easy, like Canelo, for example. Great on top fighters. 2020, or the last few decades of boxing has bred on top fighters. People who can look great winning and run out of ideas. They can't win doing what they normally do. They're out of ideas. They don't want to dig in deep, and etc. etc. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, James Toney, salute to him. He punking Floyd. Floyd, no power have an ass. Yeah, you got no power have an ass style, and it's simple as that. Yeah, you got longevity and you got your money, but you ain't got. You'll never be held. For people who really know boxing, you'll never be held in that top ticket because you just didn't have it like that. Yeah, you weren't getting down like that with the top guys, and I'm not even necessarily saying Floyd ducked people, but he fought everyone old. Mosley, he fought at 38. Why weren't you fighting Mosley was hot when he was like 30. Where was Floyd then? I don't get that. Yeah? 38. Why aren't you fighting Mosley when he was 33? If you're that good. Yeah? Oh, De La Hoya. Why did you fight De La Hoya when he was 38 as well? Floyd is the old dog slayer. Love to fight old men. If you're old, Floyd want you. 100%. So that's unfortunately that's Floyd's legacy. He don't have. And even though James Toney lost, he lost against people who stand the test of time. Floyd lost to De La Hoya, who was old and washed, and that tells you all you need to know. Yeah, all that pity-patty shoulder roll rubbish, it works well when you're in there with people who don't have no ambition. But when it came up against an old dog who was hungry, Floyd didn't have no ideas, and he spent 80% of the whole fight on the ropes, feeling sorry for himself, and then ran off into retirement. Oops. Yeah, that's how much he won that fight, no doubt.